I want to bring up the next presenter, Pastor Phil Jackson.
Woo!
Man, that purple binder, we need that on the west side, man. Don't skip the west side. South to the west. What are you? All right. What's up, everybody? Look, this is blowing me away. I'm a pastor of a hip-hop church on the west side of Chicago, and we bought an abandoned fire station that we're converting to an art center right there on Hamlin and Ogden on the west side. And we are excited about it. What's blowing me away is that in two ways. One, it's hurting me because of the 24 years of working with high school kids and college students and the gap of the inequity of technology with our kids. Not because some stuff can be done on purpose because of economics, but some things that I know our kids can really blow this stuff off the map because of its being so street, not only street grimy, but street wisdom, and bringing that to technology. So it hurts me because of the gaps of years of stuff for kids. So I know that's why we're even here, perhaps, even because of the ideas. So I want to start with this little story, though, real quick. There is a story about President Roosevelt, and he was at this situation. He was shaking people's hands at this big party, where the case is, and he was bored to death. And so, you know, after the 1500 whatever ambassador, he just began to say, "I killed my grandmother last night," and just started shaking people's hands and seeing what response people would give. They didn't say nothing. People were saying, "Wow, that's nice. You know, that was very interesting." I mean, they were just like, just go through. They didn't know what he might have said. They just kept doing it until he hit one guy, and he said, "You know, I killed my grandmother last night." And the guy stood back and he said, "She probably deserved it, right?" And finally he had somebody who heard him. And I'm saying that because who's listening to our young people, right? We hear a situation on the story, on TV, and blah, 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 and maybe 3 to 5% of those people go wilding out. But the 95% of the kids we work with are trying to make something happen. Trying to go to school every day with crazy stuff in their life and trying to make things happen in their own world of influence. And so just grateful with the kids that we work with, but encouraging us here to continue to listen to our kids and not let the static of what we hear all the time be just commonplace. Our young people are aware of the not listening aspect of the digital technology stuff. I think even with the cell phones that they do get, whether it's at the gas station or some phone that somebody got rid of and given it to them, they are aware of what's out there through technology, but not able to really access it for any real strength. I mean, I don't know if you saw the Soledad O'Brien thing last November about Silicon Valley the new place for African Americans to really make a dent in technology. There are folks in technology of color, but specifically African Americans, they may be doing the coding, they may be putting the wiring in, but they're not making a significant dent in the industry. So with that, we want to start at the grass level with our kids to awaken them to say, yo, you have permission to do this. And oftentimes in the city, young people are not aware that they do have permission. They got permission to smoke weed while out, skip class, to do things that are whatever popular in the neighborhood, but not so much permission to change the world through technology and even benefit those that are around it. And what happens in the city, right, is hopelessness and resiliency coexist. Our context is to create hopefulness and resiliency to coexist. The statistics that are out there, even in North Carolina, but in Chicago, I think the stat is still, I think from last year, 40% of Chicago residents, right, don't have access to the internet. In low-income places, 29% are less likely to have access to the internet. And there's some statistic about in North Carolina specifically, even in Little Village as well, there's over like 75% of people don't have access to broadband, right? And with 83% of the people they say have access to the internet at home, they get on the computer every day. 83% of those people have access to the computer at home. They get on the computer every day with people who don't have access to the computer every day at home, but they have it at the library or at school or at tech center. Only 7% of those kids, or specifically kids in our context, have access to get on the computer every day. So that's just on a basic common level, just on the internet to do whatever you do, but yet let alone the impact that you really can make by knowing and becoming more aware. And what was crazy, I was with one of our kids last night, and his laptop that we gave him from an award that he got through this entrepreneurship technology stuff that we did about a year ago, gave him his laptop and a flip camera, was stolen. And he's talking to his girlfriend, she's right there, and he's like, yeah, that was the week that I was going to get on the internet at my home, but my mom cut it off because I didn't have the laptop and have access to it. So we because sometimes it's just about, you know, food or clothes versus the internet bill per se. Those things that can ultimately be changed down the road, but it's just a unique conversation of that accessibility, yet the desire to make it happen. So here we are. The Firehouse Community Arts Center is this nonprofit organization that's going to have a lot of art in there, right? We're going to do some dance, of course. We're going to do sound engineering. We have a film class, Firehouse Media Group, and right there is what it looks like. We got this great girl on the front of it, and we're doing some things in the schools now. We're about 3 schools, we're about 100 kids a week with this Fulfill the Dream, youth development curriculum, hip hop, poetry, all that kind of stuff. That we do and have been doing for about 4 years. 2 schools on the west side, 1 school on the south side. All together, these kids come out every year, and we have a hip-hop revival. The last couple of years, we had Curtis Blow. This year, we're trying to get Chuck D and some other cats to come through. And these kids put together, an app. You can go online now and get it before the end of the day. That'd be great. Youth Voice Nation. Youth Voice Nation. It's an app on iTunes. It's all their poetry. It's videos of the hip hop revival, them talking back and forth, and some of the artwork. So it's a book that you can actually buy, but you can also get an app for it as well. And here is, you help me too, I don't know. maybe Union, I don't know, it's Union. So this is so our hip hop revival is 2 days, and it's Friday. We have a big thing in front of the Firehouse, big hip hop graffiti battle, MC battle, artists come and perform, and then the second day we have a breakdance battle. $1,000 on the table for the hottest crew before. But all that's cool, but it's our kids who are doing it. Our kids plan it, organize it, they lay it all out, and they perform their pieces throughout the whole day of that piece. The next slide is our film class, Firehouse Media Group. We got a grant from the Justice Department, and we created this Firehouse Media Group, so a for-profit inside of a non-profit where kids get paid and they determine on their entrepreneurial level what they're doing something for YMN, they're doing something for a legal clinic, they're doing something for some other folks, and they get a little stipend, but instead of paying a big, enormous amount from a film company who's coming to do a little highlight of your organization, they get a little stipend, but it keeps them going and the money goes back into the program. We went with our e-technology entrepreneurship class to Technori to hear some pitches. Here's another picture of our kids. So, yeah, there we go. And these are our students. They look like they're really focused, aren't they, to the presentations right now? But 50 students came down, and we really, and they really were beginning to get exposed to what was really out there for them in order that they can begin to see themselves in the same script. Now, what happens is, we have this desire, we have the kids, we see the needs, right? And ultimately, by the fall, a lot of this will be inside the Firehouse. But we partnered with Starting Up. Starting Up is an organization, next slide, I think. Yeah. Starting Up is an organization that started by Brian Jenkins, Entrenuity, and Starting Up basically helps us to get in and bridge the gap between technology and entrepreneurship. It grabs high school students, specifically right now in North Lawndale, trying to get the whole city of Chicago. I think they had a presentation with CPS. But to begin to start at the grass level with students, being able to get them hungry and aware of what the possibilities are technology-wise. We've even, I think, legalized the name the West Side Geek Squad, where students, as they get network savvy, because that's the first platform we're going to try to get them into, network savvy, that they could potentially take on contracts, maybe locally right there on the West Side, to begin to network other nonprofits or for-profit organizations as they're able to do it. But Starting Up enables us to, they bring the curriculum, they're online, our students can put their business plans online and able to use their skills that they're learning from the technology end of it, actually in practice with the curriculum. We meet with students right now 3 to 4 days a week, right there on the west side of Chicago. We really need help through what I call internships, what I call them permissionships, per se, where you give kids permission to engage with you in whatever capacity to learn what they need to learn by way of technology. We also need tech volunteers, folks who are in the industry or folks who know the industry who have time to commit, to even train students along with Starting Up with the technology that's needed in order to impact them for these careers as well as academics. Because when you begin to tap into that aspect, a whole nother level of your brain is engaged, right? But when it's not accessible to you to have that, then that brain, that part of the brain or that part of the insight that you may really have to bring to the table is not necessarily always triggered. So That's a little bit about what our efforts are with the Firehouse Community Arts Center. We have a great group of young people. We had what I call tech hop cats come out. Rob and Jesse came out. Tech hop. They really were almost rapping at the house last Saturday. The tech hop coming out to rap. But it's an exciting time, and where we are, we believe, is the precipice of change in North Farmdale, especially with the disparity that's there. Oftentimes, the darker than it is, the bigger the light can be, and that's the hope we have for our young people. So we want to encourage you to get involved with us as well as other groups, and we're right at the framework of building this out. So.